You've achieved success. You've become recognized for your contributions to your company, maybe even your field or industry. The question is, are you done? Is it okay to rest on your laurels because you've achieved a modicum of success, or is now precisely the time to lean into a growth mindset and continue sharpening the saw? Let's talk about it. Welcome to this week's episode of What's Jonathan Thinking? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of What's Jonathan Thinking? I have gotten into meditation as of late, and I was impacted by a topic offered by Jay Shetty about how our pursuit of genius can often cause us to deprioritize our growth mindset. I can't say I've ever endeavored to be viewed as a genius, maybe because I never viewed myself as one. There are things I'm good at, but I'm always learning. I favor curiosity as my base state, and as it turns out, prioritizing curiosity, sometimes above genius, can offer much more of an upside. The pursuit of genius or being viewed as a genius, Jay offers, can sometimes cause us to put blinders on and only focus on being perceived in the way we want. Consequently, we might adopt a tunnel vision in which only those things that contribute to our desired perception become important. We become fixated on one thing to the exclusion of further growth, enhanced knowledge, or ancillary or orthogonal concepts that might actually make us a better genius. If Facebook had stuck to its original model, it would be a closed network only bringing together students on college campuses. But genius, coupled with a growth mindset, enabled Facebook to open up to the world, creating a billion-dollar company in the process. Imagine what the world might be like if the leaders of Renaissance technology had only focused on the mathematical application of their original research in stimulus response theory. We might have made tremendous inroads in theoretical applications of this line of thought, but we may not have figured out how to apply those same theorems to programmatically structured market trading. But the greatest example of why genius needs to be paired with a growth mindset comes to us in the origin story of what we today call the Post-it note. Per my research, the story goes like this. In 1968, Spencer Silver, a scientist at 3M, accidentally developed a light, easily removable adhesive while attempting to create a strong one. Despite recognizing its potential, Silver struggled to find a practical use for it and ultimately put it on the shelf, trashed it, if you will. But 5 years later, his colleague Art Fry was trying to solve a problem he was experiencing, juggling the various cue notes he had in his hymnal. He found a solution to this problem by putting Silver's light, easily removable adhesive onto a piece of paper, creating the first easily movable, non-permanent note. After some trial and error, he and his colleagues at 3M figured out how to productize this invention, and in 1980, the Post-it note was launched nationwide. After just a few short years, it would become the office staple and the cultural icon that we take for granted today. So what can we learn from this? One, not every failed experiment is an actual failure. Our history as humans is riddled with things that failed to prove the original hypothesis, but succeeded in solving a different problem. If anyone knows the backstory of Viagra, you know that its current most prescribed use was not its intended use. But that's a story for another episode. Second, there is power in being open and curious about our genius. Meaning, if we are open to channeling our learnings towards new things, even unintended things, then we keep ourselves open to miraculous things. To bring it to a personal level, prior to this role, I did not have what most would call a strong background in consulting. I'd worked for firms here and there, but my passion was program and project management. Had I stayed where my genius was focused, I would have stayed focused on being the best program and project manager I could be. But someone challenged me to have a growth mindset and channel those skills into consulting. That was 6 years ago. And I'm so glad that I remained curious and took that step forward to be open to using my talents in different ways. Geniuses are crucial to our society. The world would be rather empty without them, as we would be devoid of some of the most miraculous inventions of our human history. But genius by itself is not enough. We must have this intellect coupled with the curiosity and willingness to experiment that comes with a growth mindset. Without it, we would have single-use pharmaceuticals, closed network communities, and multi-use adhesive glue that sits on a shelf with no purpose. How else can you put your genius to work? Where else could it take your business and your career if you opened your mind? These are my thoughts for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time on What's Jonathan Thinking?